I'ma get it to them, what they always fear. Yeah, I'm finally here, but them rebels here. We gon' make it clear, try to make it scared.
Welcome to Max Speaks, the place where we interview intelligent people and people that have had experience in the professions that we are aspiring to be. And today I'm speaking with JQ McLean, or better known as LawJQ. Now, LawJQ is from New York. He's had a lot of experience in the music industry. He's a rap and hip hop, artist. And so I'm here to welcome you today. Welcome, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, King? Blessings.
Hey, God bless, man. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to interview with you today. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, what's up? So, while you're better known as, LawJQ, you're actually a revolutionist, and you've been doing a lot of activist work, especially now, these past 2020. So can you explain more a little bit about that, brother?
You asked about just as far as what I see on a political stance and
sure.
Why I'm taking actions that I take. I mean, you're right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so pretty much right now, I am a revolutionist, and for people who may not understand the difference between like a revolutionist and an activist, reformist, things of that nature, it's a difference. Shout out to the actual saying Black Lives Matter. I don't really roll with that particular movement. That's not my thing. I'm not a reformist. I'm not here to, or better yet, we are not here really to, find a way to work things out. We've been trying to work things out for almost 200-300 years now. It really hasn't been working out. And every time we've tried, it sees another demise. So for us and the people in which I stand for, we're not really here to do the reforming thing. And reforming is individuals who see a political system and they want to change some things around to work for the best of them. Revolutionaries are individuals who believe that system needs to just be moved, either separated or it need to be eradicated, or they can just have it and we can just build our own. Nonetheless, some things that's older, we need that as well. Things like land and just various things of that nature that I can go on, but just more so the why. Well, the reason why I stand for what I stand for, and what I stand for is the Bobby Hutton Gun Club. My name is LawJQ, and that's the club that I'm a part of. We are part of a coalition that many may know of, but we don't need to speak on that right now. And what we do stand upon is pro-Black. This chapter out here is the first African-American pro-Black gun club out here. And, we stand for Black liberation. And, we believe that we need a area for our people to be able to grow and rebuild the things that, to rebuild our value. We're very, very disenfranchised and separated right now. And there's so many things that keeps us back. And we see that this reforming and it's things that they're trying to do with us and work the politics and sway. It never works. It's really just a backfire. And we're the underbelly of, individuals who are in debt because in, certain wars, they owe people money and gold, but they don't have those type of funds because they decide to utilize them for something else. So now, they're in debt with IOUs for other countries. So now, people that are at the bottom, the rebels, the individuals who are starving, people who are grinding, or people that got to choose to be in strip clubs or be selling drugs, they got to be the ones to get violated on a day-to-day basis, on a year-to-year basis, due to the fact that people want to just sit there and play around with people's lives because they messed up on something instead of paying these people back. So when I see that, and then I see the life that I come from, and then I see other people suffering that, maybe people that I've surpassed, I don't like it. And I've been there. I've been the guy chanting and been in all kind of protesting and blah, blah, blah. It's all on the internet. Everybody know it. But, after a while, excuse my language, you get tired of that shit. You want to see some change. And you understand that no matter how you try to rearrange the picture, you can rearrange it and change it and they'll blend with you. But at the same token, the person that's at the top that's playing the puppeteer, he's going to just rearrange it so it can still work for him, not for you. And that's what we sick of.
Yep.
So that's the why. That's why I'm sick of it. And it's individuals that are too. And, we're not saying we hate white people. We're not saying we hate people that's not Black. We just want a time and a portion, an area, some land, some things for us so we can build our people the right way, like we've been trying to do since Tulsa and many other areas, Rosewood, and go on. We just want to be able to build just like everybody else. We haven't got that chance in America. So just let us do our thing. That's all.
Okay. And a few of the things that you said that really kind of pick up to me, you know what I mean? You said we want to rebuild, being an African. So, how can we start rebuilding ourselves and our heritage and our culture in a way that, kind of meets our evolution or revolution?
First things first, we must read. That's something that we're not doing right now. Before I even get to the other things I'm about to explain, we gotta read, not the internet. We gotta read. I'll give y'all a book off the rip. I'm gonna give 2 books. There's a book by Chancellor Williams called The Destruction of a Black Civilization. You need to find out the source. You need to find out the badness first. The truth will set you free, definitely when it comes mentally. So you gotta find out what the real deal is. You gotta recalibrate your mentality as it pertains to the knowledge that was taught to us in school. I done been there, all the graduation, the college thing. You already know me on a personal level, all good and all that. You know what I'm saying? I've been this way mentally, you know what I'm saying? You got to play your different facets in life, but at the same token, I've been there. You play the game. There's another side that wasn't taught to us. So that needs to be taught first. After that, for my brothers, before I even get to the queens, I don't really got much to say to them because I don't want to go in a tangent or anything, but just for my brothers, I will also just say a good book to start you off individually after you understand what happened to your people and you understand the blackness of things. Once you get in tune with that and got your third eye open, you probably want to go over and check out, what's this, the ways of, hold up, it's coming up. The Ways of the Superior Man. Ooh. That's an amazing book. The Ways of a Superior Man. Some people may know it because I read it some years ago, but I know that Nipsey Hussle also read it. It's a great book. It's definitely something that just gets you on track as it pertains to how to view women, how to view yourself intellectually, internally, and externally, and just how to love properly and just communicate with our queens. Because at the end of the day, right now, the way how they got us so disenfranchised, the balance is messed up. So queens, they becoming more masculine energy because the feminine energy and the dynamic switched. Just keeping it real. And if we're not gonna lead properly, what the fuck they gonna do? Excuse my language. What the heck they gonna do? They're gonna make a certain move to protect themselves if we're not doing the protecting properly. And we can't protect if we're not even protecting ourselves properly. So with that being said, we just got to make sure that the balance is correct. And I think that book will help men get their mind right after understanding the woke side. Excuse me.
So number 1 is read. Yep.
Knowledge, reading, definitely reading. And after that, then you want to really, there's another a book that I would say that's really good just as far as pitching on entrepreneurship and business, because we're kind of like in a conglomerated trap. In order to be able to get to where we want to be, there's some steps that has to be in place. And that means being able to understand their game, play it, and be able to distribute roads for other individuals to lead and get the hell out. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to go too much into that. But what I will say is, what I mean by that is, this book called Contagious. It's a real bright orange book. It's another good book about entrepreneurship and how to just make things contagious for whatever business that you want to do. We got to be able to generate our own funds is what I'm saying, and be able to collectively bring that together. And once we're able to do that, then we have another area that we tend to lack in, and that's ownership, land, things of that nature. And you see, I noticed Rick Ross, just a person who just keeps bringing up. I think he's a good guy in business. He has well intent, but he finally recently did something that I would give him a respect to. But previously, he was buying all of these damn mansions and the wing stops and all that. That's great. That's good. The best, do your thing. And I'm not judging you as a man, but just to use him as an example, we got him along with various other rappers, things of that nature, that's want to buy houses with mad acres and all that. And I mean, how much you think those houses run? You think about it, it's 20 mil, 10 mil, 15 mil, more, right? But we have towns every 2 years, 10 towns that are going on sale, even around the world, but just talking United States of America, that's on sale for under $1 million every year. We're talking about towns that are already either established or enough acres to be able to have and carry a town that has some things that's already there. But we're buying mansions. We're buying Rolls Royces, wow, Birkin bags. So I'm just saying, I know for a fact about like 4 or 5 Birkin bags can definitely buy you one of what they got. Calvera de Niro. That's a town that's between Nevada and California, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It's a small town, nonetheless. It runs about like what, 500 grand, something like that. It's a freaking casino already on there. I mean, it's not running right now, but you build it up. It's an entire town, and it has about like 26 houses. It's a town. So we need to be able to establish a location, is what my point is. We need a location that's central, that's owned by us, and be able to operate by us, that's going to do things for us, playing their game still. Now, at the end of the day, as far as establishment demands, it's things that's old that needs to be handled and settled to a point where we can get to an area where we're establish a piece of land that can be our own land. And on top of that, because there's plenty of reservoirs that, we can't go on. And even if you're a citizen of America, by the natives, shout out to them, you go onto their land, that's a problem. Even if you're a freaking police officer from another jurisdiction, you know what I'm saying? We need that too for those lands that we buy. So we need to be able to establish those kind of documents and agreements to make sure that happens, to start building. Basically, the end result what we need to get to is basically to a point, hey, look, Asia, are they over here? No. But how many Chinatowns do you see throughout the United States of America? Every damn city you go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? We need little Africas. Yeah. We need little Africas in every city.
Thank you.
We don't mind doing business with you, America. We separate, but we don't mind doing business with you. But let's do it how the Asians do. Let's put a town there. Let's build together. And every town there, what happens? They put a Chinatown somewhere. Who start living there and around every city in the vicinity? What stores start getting bought? You start finding hair salons owned by Asians, food store. It just starts spreading. They got the mentality that goes back to the point one. They've been doing that since they was young, understanding their real history and what they really want to do with intent. So when you learn the real things, you get to move all the lines out that could take so many roads. There's already enough roads with facts. We got already enough stress with dealing with just real organic facts. So when you put stuff in front of it, it just gets crazy. And these are the things that I believe we got to do in short. It's so much more detail. I don't want to run it in, but it's so much more detail that I believe that can be explained as far as going into that. And as far as just the books that I said, I think that'll get people started off in the right road.
So number one is educate yourself, by reading. And number two is financial literacy. I think financial literacy, honestly, is something that while we struggle with it for the past, I think there's a kind of issue where now the younger generation, we are really kind of striving towards that. We're starting to find out that the things we learned in school haven't really been working. So I see a lot of call for entrepreneurship. Why do you think this has kind of changed from the past? Why do you think how mentality has elevated towards ownership?
If I can bring it into one word, internet. Internet. I know I'm definitely the last of the generations that are considered young and, got to see that transition, from a child old enough to remember all the way to an adult. I remember when Facebook came out, when MySpace came out. I remember when we were doing simple things like AIM. I remember when we used to go out and play tag. When the last time you really see some kids play tag? How consistently do you see it? I mean, even only your family. I don't even know your family like that, but I just know my family ain't too much kids play tag. You used to probably play tag though.
Yeah. What?
You used to act, I remember time when you was waiting to get out of school to go to the park near where you at to go do. They don't do that no more. I mean, they do for their own reasons. That's some adult things that they shouldn't be doing. We really was trying to play tag, get on the monkey bars. How long can you stand there? You understand what I'm saying? And little did we know also, slight tangent also, we was building endurance, building our muscle. This is why internally and scientifically, when you look at the stats, you see that a large percentage of young Black males don't even got the bone density and durability on their body because they're not doing the things we're doing. We locked in this internet. But what has helped and what has changed the narrative as far as your question is definitely the internet. Being able to communicate in a certain fashion and see things in a certain fashion that we understand in the collective, the same thing is happening to me. You know what I mean? And it's it can't be stopped now. They thought it would backfire on us for some years, it did. But now we see it's not. Rest in peace, George Floyd.
Hey, rest in peace. So I think kind of, rest in peace, brother. I think kind of what the brother, his unfortunate, murder by a bunch of people who clearly didn't care about him. I think the anger and our passion, I think, kind of led us there because a lot of us started to realize we couldn't do anything about it, and we try to kind of build a financial standing because we know that without actual, money to kind of move us forward and our, knowledge and money and ownership, there was nothing really that we could have done to go after those people responsible. Is that something kind of where I'm close?
Yeah, most definitely. I think I slipped up on the question too, because I wanted to touch base on that too. Yeah, that's a fact. That's definitely is what's becoming more relevant due to that. But at the same time, I want to go back to what you were talking about, why people are getting more on an entrepreneurship thing. I think it's really because people are starting to understand the game. You know, most of us, myself, yourself, were educated. You know what I mean? We did a lot of things, but then you still see struggle. You still don't see the things that match society is supposed to hold their end of the bargain, that they say, hey man, you do A, B, we give you C. You know, these things is not happening. People are starting to basically see, man, that whole time I could have just went to the library and just really educated myself and just started a business, got an LLC, get a business going. And I could have had more money than I'm doing today out of the 4 or 5 years that I spent, or even some master's PhD, 8 years, or 6 to 8 years, you know, that I've spent giving these people all this amount of money to get out, get the education that they told me would get me the jobs, and then to find out that I can't get that. And also, don't forget all the student loans that get piled on top of you.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, so I think people are the internet has caused people to see that, and you get a freedom to just look up things that just pop up in your mind every day. Like, damn, man, how come I could have just stayed at home, man? Would have been more money for me would I have made more money if I would have just learned myself and took the patience, the discipline to read and just apply that and get an LLC? If I would have made more if I would have did that instead of going to college. You type that into Google, you be like, damn. A lot of people thought that. Then you go to YouTube and you start visually seeing people be like, yep, I did it. And like, damn. And then people start teaching the younger ones the same thing. And this is starting to get crazy because the younger ones are doing it themselves. You see 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds on phone. It's ridiculous. I didn't have a phone since I was like 12.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, most definitely touch on that one. Good question.
Yeah, so there's actually a book, you know, speaking of educating yourself, that I saw. It was written by Dr. Claude Anderson. It's called Powernomics. Have you read it?
Okay. I've heard about it. I have not got the chance to read it though.
Brother, you know, it talks more about the ownership, and it breaks down why we deserve ownership and what are the steps it takes to get us out of the, you know, out of the kind of position we found ourselves in today, despite, you know, almost 400 years of struggling. So I think it's a good read for anybody that wants to really, you know, kind of like understand themselves. Now, Chris Rock actually said something that maybe you might, you know, he said that, and he uses the words, you know, he hates the N words, you know, and so he said the reason he hates, you know, niggas versus, you know, men is because niggas don't read, and that people hide stuff in a book, you know, like if you wanted to hide something in if you wanted to hide anything, hide it in a book. So you get where he was going at, why he hates niggas. Can you explain, you know, what you feel about, you know, educating yourself a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, it's, like I was saying earlier, you know, re-education is important, but also, you know, I remember hearing that, and he was a little bit touching on the topic as far as how we utilize the word. For me, it doesn't necessarily bother me as an artist and also as a revolutionist. Why? Because at the end of the day, I think we got to be careful on intertwining different topics and different things with our emotions. You got one area, something that was used against us, derogatory, something that was down-putting, something that we understand that and we utilized it for other means and reasons to empower ourselves. Taking something that was weakness and making it power. That's that. Now then we get into, you know, as far as that word being used to explain don't read, yeah, that's a problem. We don't read. It's a problem. We're reading the internet, we're reading everything else that's touching our emotions. A lot of us understand it is not even real, but still do. And in the past, I gotta say, I admit that I was definitely guilty of that myself, but I got a chance to really start reading and understanding. And it's so many benefits to just taking yourself out of that world and just reading. It gives you more, I don't know, it weirdly builds your patience and you get more details. And then you mentally want to search things and understand things in detail as opposed to just having that short means of a span to just dialing. Our attention span is just becoming like this. It's totally build your like attention span.
Yep.
Got to get in tune with it.
Yep. All right. Hey, I really believe what you're saying. I think ownership is very important, and it's great that, you know, we're gonna start. We actually, you know, are starting kind of like a trend, and you're seeing more people want to be entrepreneurs. You know, I thank God, you know, because we're taking a step forward. Am I wrong with that?
No, you're not.
And you're actually one example of somebody that's taking entrepreneurship forward, man. You
Absolutely.
you know, I've heard your music, and one of the things you talked about in entrepreneurship was that self-made, you know, where you really kind of like having to basically pick up for yourself and then, you know, do for yourself and be able to really look at the people that weren't with you and really kind of either help them, you know, be where you are or just continue with your own self-growth. Is that something I'm close to?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, self-made was special, man. Self-made was special. For sure. You're definitely correct about that.
I like that track. What inspired you to write that, actually?
Woo. I'm a man that say a lot of things. I'm not a man of many words, man, when it comes to personal things. You know what I'm saying? What I will say for shorter words, what inspired me is just in my past, where I come from, people who know me know it can get dark. And a lot of people that pretty much say that they're gonna ride with you or be there for you, they ain't there. But then when you start, you know, applying yourself and you start reaching certain areas in life, you know, it don't gotta be extreme fame or anything, but just people see that potential starting, the narrative of your potential starting to change from when they used to know you in a certain area of your life. And when that narrative starts to change, boom, oh my bad. So when that narrative starts to change, pretty much what happens, people start to act a little funny.
Yeah.
And they think that you owe them something. But you know, you start to remember your memory, like, bro, when I was down and out, you wasn't there. When I was homeless, when I was putting in work, like you wasn't there, boy. So like chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I mean,
that's what
it came from the heart, man. So
always.
Really kind of like you know, that goes a little bit where you from, man. Where you from, man? And where's this place that made JQ?
You know the vibes. BX is here. Big facts. You know the vibes. I'm from the Bronx, New York. I can't. It's me. Every New Yorker, man, they know the vibes. Once you say they burial this, I can't help to smile. It's just like, you heard? Wow. Something different in New York just come out of me once you say it. Yeah, I'm from the Bronx specifically. Shout out to all of my uptown hooligans, you know, on Nearview Avenue, because that's the second home for sure. Like, I got Brody's there, like that's the block area, you know. But my first home, my Haven, Brook Ave, 138th, you know the vibe. Shout out to everybody in my Haven, you know we here. Yeah. Facts. Home of hip hop.
Hey man.
You
know what they say about New York? If you can make it there, you can make it
anywhere. You heard? Wow. Yeah, that's a
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yes,
so,
sir.
How long you been making music?
Man, I've been making music for like 20 plus years, man. At least, definitely 20 plus years, over 20 years. I started mad young, man. Mad young. Word.
Really? What got you into music, man?
Yo, I ain't gonna hold you, man. Like, I heard this album by DMX, man. It's dark and hell is hot, man. Like, it was over from there. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I used to rap this dude's stuff like elementary all the time in the back of the bus. Like, because I was down south for a little bit, you know what I mean? So they, you know, New York, it wasn't really riding the yellow buses, but nobody cared about that till like middle school. But like elementary, it was smooth. But like in the meantime, between New York and when I moved down and all that, I used to bump that joint in the back seat, like, and people used to be extra tight. And then one day, some dude came out. I don't know this dude's name. I don't remember him, y'all. He was mad taller than me. I was probably like 8 or something like that. And he was like, "Yo, you want to be rapping in the back of the bus, man?" Loud, like, "Yo, you rap?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he was just like, "Yo, spit something." And I had to spit like a whole verse from DMX. He was like, "Yo, that's DMX, bro. But if you can spit his shit with that shit like that, then you should just write your own music." And it was just on. Like, it was just on. Like, yeah.
Yeah. You remember your first song?
Yo, it was actually That's crazy. I never remember that shit too. That's crazy. It was a song that me and my sister and her friend had a little rap group. It was called Just Too Cute, I think. Like, yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was me, her friend. And she wrote that joke for me too. Like, she wrote it for me. It was like, it was on. Like, that shit was hilarious. It was like, it was nothing, you know what I mean? But after that, like, I started writing stuff. But I started really getting good on freestyling. I don't know what happened with that. Like, more DMX I used to listen to. Like, when I heard when my dogs actually got me hip to him, but once he came out with Rough Riders Anthem, nah, that's later. I'm still talking about the 90s. I'm still talking about the 90s. Once I heard that Rough Rider Anthem, though, that was like his second single. Dun, 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 dun. Once that came on, after that, I just started just like freestyling to that beat. And that's when it began, like, real talk.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
That's what's up, man. Oh, man. 50 Cent is what got me introduced to music, man. I was back in Africa, and my brother... Yeah, 50 started. Oh, man. 50... Yeah. It was that 50 track. That's when he was on that disrespectful, like, Ja Rule.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Back Down, I think you talk about, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what got me into, like, honestly, hip-hop. So I was back in Sierra Leone, and my brothers were actually in college, and they were bumping that, and for whatever reason, my dad thought it was a good idea to, like, have me live with my brother for a little bit. Yeah.
Glad that happened, though. You got that experience. Yeah, 50, I dibbled with 50. Yeah, he had his moments in my ears, for sure. Well, definitely, yeah.
So
he used to make you want to go do something.
He's still trolling.
He said 50 don't back down. Like, word, what? Stop playing with me, say. Word.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah, so how do you really describe your music though?
Oh man, yo, yeah, 2 words. I remember somebody asked me that, man. If I had to narrow it down, passionate and raw. Straight up passionate and raw, man. I'm just an organic energy, man. I know I'm a shell. I'm a soul inside of this shell, man. And it gotta be heard. Like, and the only 2 things they want to do is just be heard in the most rawest fashion. And you're gonna hear that passion because the poise is real. Passion and raw.
Hey man. I appreciate it, man. Where's that passion coming from though? What drives that passion, man?
Yo, organically, man, I love that my spirit is so organic. You know, it's a lot of people not being themselves out there. No shots, no pun. But I would have to say, of course, my family, because that's what's rooting in me. You know what I mean? But my people, you know what I'm saying? My people, you know what I'm saying? And making sure that I stand for something and stand for my purpose. And my purpose is to lead them, you know, the right way. And, hold on, I got probably my charger, but to lead them the right way into, you know, basically a lot of things I was just projecting earlier. Yeah, purpose, man. Every man gotta have a purpose, man.
Okay. Hey, man. So, from what I hear, you just, you know, you're part of like a liberation. You're trying to really bring about a liberation, you know, of your people. Is that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not a game, man. The stuff I'm rapping about, like, I ain't gonna say nothing, matter of fact, but I'll just say that I'm very organic. Yes, very organic.
So what's liberation mean to you, man? I had to ask. What does liberation mean to you?
Yo, breaking them chains, man. Breaking them chains, getting them off. Mentally and physically. You know what I'm saying? I believe a lot of the things which we was talking about earlier, you know, just that means of freedom to me is what's old. The opportunity, not even the opportunity, because we're going to make the opportunity. We're not sitting around waiting. That's the difference between reformers and revolution. We're not sitting around waiting. We actually, we doing it. So, you know, that means, and then, you know, making sure that we establish a very stable grounding for our individuals, you know, all the way down to our own currency, to our own, you know, government systems, all of those type of things. That's liberation. We able to start spending our own currencies, building our own values, having our own means to land and property and ownership, to where it's like, nah, this ain't even America. That's liberation. Nah, this is New Africa, or this is wherever. Shit, nigga, I don't care. somewhere that's not America and it deserves to be right in this land. They got to have all these reservations. Let us have some. Watch us move. And matter of fact, natives is more than welcome. They're gonna get the same citizen respect just as blacks, because we've been confused. We mad confused. We was over here already before anything. We was in a lot of those tribes. Those were our brothers and sisters, and they've been confused just like we've been confused, just to keep us again disenfranchised. So we need to just get that back off rip. They're gonna be different from my natives once I get up there. You know the vibes. Even the ones that's a little lost. We got blacks that's lost too. It's sandbows everywhere.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's something to say to my, American friends that are part of the African diaspora. What's stopping you from starting something in Africa?
The same issues that's taking place in America is not taking place in Africa. That's one off rip. Y'all got your own issues of a whole nother different American system that we got to start somewhere. So I feel like the individuals that's in America, why not start where they at? You understand what I'm saying? It's the reason why we got Africans coming over here, right now, establishing things. Things are a little different over here, right? So we over here trapped in the system. So we got to be able to adapt to the trap that we were in. We can't adapt to a trap that's outside of the trap that they got a trap over there that they got to adapt to. We got a trap over here that we got to adapt to. So we can't be over here trying to do something that's over there when we're not even out our own trap. And then we got to focus on getting outside of this trap so we can even build that reconnection, because it's a lot of confusion when it comes to those two entities due to another entity. You know what I'm saying? That we continue to forget that is the reason why we're so disconnected. And we not gonna sit here and focus on black things when we got things that's beyond the black on black things that's affecting the black on black things. We need to break out first. Then we are holler.
Okay. On that note, really, I think I really kind of hear it in your music, when you try to really promote the self and self-determination. I think that's really good for everybody. You know what I mean? The ability to want to determine. I think that's part of the American dream. That's the ability to kind of like determine for yourself. But I feel like a lot of people kind of believe that the American dream is failing them, or their ability to determine for themselves has not been allowed to be exercised. What do you think about that?
The American dream is a trap and it's a lie. I don't believe in it. I've been stopped believing in that a long time ago. The American dream is sat there, and it's pretty much a projection of what America can't even give us. They're broke. That's number one. Secondly, we're sitting there fiercely fighting flames just to get simple things that to certain section of people like ourselves, they don't even want to give. I mean, obviously, you hard work, play their game, and you conform long enough, you'll get it. That's what they call. If you work hard, that's what that is. If you conform, that's what that really is. If you conform hard enough, yeah, we'll give you a house, we'll give you a little land, give you a little LLC to bring in a couple mil a year. All right, just shh, right? You know what I mean? Eventually, if you don't see it now, my small business owners, you'll get to a level where you will. Okay, you will, because at the end of the day, people want to make more money. So the higher you go, you're going to have to conform if you're going to play that game. You know what I'm saying? And as it pertains to the American dream, I don't believe it's real. I believe we need to create our own dream. That's what we need to be doing. We need to start building our own minds, think for ourselves, not for society. You know what I'm saying? We don't think for ourselves. The society is a machine. So we're thinking so they can make money. That's what the American dream is. If you got millions and millions of pounds of people who sitting there chasing the same narrative, eventually it's going to get so individualistic that people is going to be like, give me. No, I want this. I want to look better. That's the inevitable. That's the best thing, because what happens with stuff like that happens, inflation, more money, more to pay debt, taking money from our pockets to put in their IOU so they can pay off debt over and over for themselves. And, you know what I mean? That's how it goes in the Federal Reserve nonetheless. And, the American dream literally is the reason why that's able to happen in disguise, because we see the American dream in every facet. Music videos that we watch, hip hop, even rock, even white people, they see it in their thing too. We're all here chasing the same thing, but it's being delivered to us differently. And then it's that clash. You know what I mean? So, I think it's bullcrap. We need to be creating our own dreams. Think about what would make you actually happy, and think about how you can apply that to another society that's collectively thinking exactly like that. Because I guarantee you, if you start thinking for yourselves, it's only about so many narratives you can go down as far as a road as a black person or a colored person. that doesn't align with somebody else. I don't think sitting there going, for example, that goes, your question goes hand in hand. We were talking about earlier as far as like, oh, doing the typical American thing. Oh, grow up. After your teen, go to college. After you graduate, get a job. Work till you're what, like 50? God damn. When can I go out and smell the trees? Oh, twice a year you get to travel, or this, that, and third. You make enough for retirement, then you can live your life on a bucket list. Like, no, that's whack. That's what the American dream is. That's what that is. When you think you see somebody that's lived the American dream successfully, because what you see them, you see the random stuff like you go downtown on like downtown crossing, you're walking or something, right? You just minding your business, sipping your tea that you just got from Starbucks, and then you see a freaking Lamborghini fly by, and then you get to catch up a little because the red light catches, right? Who's inside most likely? An old ass white or black dude. Excuse me. Most of the time, though, let's be real. It's really, you usually not going to see no 25, 30-year-old or somebody, in our age bracket in there. You know what I mean? At most, you'll see us in like a last year Benz. At most. You know what I mean? Let's be real. I'm just saying. Maybe a Tesla if our parents got enough money, right? You know what I mean? So, but, out of control things, it's like that because they're living the American dream now. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, when you look at the percentage, and what do you think the percentage is for black men in America that's making six figures? Just give me a ballpark.
30%.
Woo! You want to try one more time?
Oh man, 30%.
It's nowhere near 30. It's way lower than 30.
Wow.
It's way lower than 30 as far as black men in America that are making more like over the six-figure line.
Yeah.
Nah. Try like 7%.
Wow.
That's 7%.
7%.
It seems a lot like it's on TV, but notice how it seems a lot like it when you look on social media and TV, right? But notice how we see the same damn people though. They're famous. We know them. Boom. There you go. It's the same people. You look at the Forbes list, it's the same people. Same people. How many times like do you get a total refresh of thousands of famous people and then you get to see new ones? Not really. They stay in the game for decades upon decades. There's just 7%. Yep. While the rest of us suffer because we're like, oh, I want that too. But they're going to be given to a certain amount. Conform, or slide through the ranks, you know what I'm saying? Or slide through because you decided to think for yourself individually. You know what I mean? I'm deciding to think for a nation. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Yeah, to answer your question, I don't believe in it. That's how I feel about it.
Okay. So, well, your music kind of, music is influential, or that's what most people say. Do you think music influences you?
You think my music? You said do I think my music influences me?
That's the second. No, that's the second question. Do you think is there somebody like an artist that really was an influence on you, or is an influence on you now?
Oh, I would have to say honestly, like in this generation, no. Like I'm not trying to sound typical, but nobody really appeals to me. It's a couple young dudes that I like, but I don't. Inspiration wise, no. But the only two artists, man, and I can really say that anybody who knows me know this as a kid, it's Tupac and DMX. 100%. I've dibbled and dabbled. I'll give props to certain artists that I dibble and dabble on downtimes, like Plies in his prime, like not the shorty Plies. I'm talking about his side when you actually listen to his album. He wasn't doing all that. He was talking real stuff. And I definitely dibbled with 50. But hardcore, Tupac, DMX, back to back, still to this day. I mean, from 8 years old to now, for sure.
Oh man, yeah. Like I said, Tupac actually had a really profound influence on a lot of young brothers and sisters. That's why he's remembered to this day as a legend. May he rest in peace. And knows that Tupac's mother was actually really, really, really for that liberation movement.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, rest his soul.
Not only his mother, but he has done for the community. I think that's why he'll be forever be the GOAT, in my opinion.
Yeah, most definitely.
May he rest in peace.
Yes.
So this is like the music industry is a bit competitive. We all kind of know that. So basically, what I'm asking, how do you kind of reach out to your audience in this competitive like environment, and how do you find a way to put your message out there? What kind of channels do you use?
I'm big. I'm really big on the grassroots life, man. I'm really big on just getting out there and getting that organic reach. And what I mean by that is performing, touching the crowd, being able to connect, communicate, perform, show my music, spread my message, and just network with people. Even after I get off the stage, I don't just leave. I'm not there just myself. I'm trying to build people. I'm speaking with people, and at the same time, always being prepared. You got to proper preparation prevents poor performance. And if you are properly prepared, you got your postcards, you got your little flash drives, just in case you see somebody poor, you want to pass some to them. So I always got postcards on deck. I always got flash drives on deck. You know what I'm saying? I'm always ready to just build with somebody on musically. And you gotta have the gift of gab and knowing what you want. So as far as that organic reach, obviously I'm using digital platforms to the max, YouTube, making sure I stay consistent on videos. When it comes to a lot of these social media platforms, I don't really care for them, but I understand that when it comes to them, you got to utilize them in this age of form because you don't want to have a Kodak moment and get left behind. So I do utilize them, and I study the game on a social media level, and just make sure I'm staying up to par with the social media platforms and the organic platforms. And I'm just traveling. You got to get the hell out of your state. I don't care where you from. Everybody always think, oh, if you're from New York, no. Even if you live here, you come here. No, you got to go out and get it. You got to go out and get it. Go to Texas, perform. Find a platform that'll give you some platforms to go get shows out there and see what shows is out there. If not, grassroots, and it's simply type Google Georgia, bars in Georgia that let you perform. Shit pops up. Call them. Hey, what nights do y'all have? Blah, blah. Do y'all do open mics? Blah, blah. Boom. When's the date? Oh, boom. Get a ticket. Take your butt down there and just go perform. You can literally make a whole list of dates like that and make a tour. And if you want to get paid for them, just utilize a platform and a distributor that'll take those things. So that's what I use to reach my people. Organic reach, reaching out to people physically and digitally. And also I got my own, platform as far as random events and talking about things that's personally in my mind as far as what I stand for. So yeah.
I think I saw your random vet both on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay.
About Sister Breonna Taylor, I peeped that.
Say that part again?
The one he said about Sister Breonna Taylor, I peeped that.
Oh yeah.
I seen that.
Peace of the Queen for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
So really, are you independent as an artist? Are you?
Yes. I'm currently signed to my own label. I'm the Rebel Empire Music Entertainment label. And we currently got 5 artists, one being a band. So that's a little more. It's actually 9 of us, but that's either here nor there. So we got Villains Row, we got Fame Jackson, we got C Trap, we got myself, LawJQ, we got Stretch. And Villains Row consists of myself, Tony Chopper, P Dub, and JB Morse. And just collectively right now, that's what we're doing right now. As far as the artists and the list goes, but that's the label that I own, and we're a family, we're a team. Shout out to our affiliates, High Street, and that's owned by Dallas Rose. He produced a lot of my music. Definitely produced some stuff that we're probably gonna talk about later. So yeah, Rebel Empire, Google it, rebelempire.com.
I see you doing big things. Rebelempire.com.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I got the little hold up. We can get. Yeah, we're gonna switch that there in the background. It's really just really easy. Just go over there, boom. Rebel Empire, you got your stuff on there, everything you need. You want to check up what's going on in hip hop and all that. Click on your view more. It take you to all of these little videos, just like your little World Star, but it's a little more stuff on there than what they do. So check us out.
Yes, sir. I see you doing big things, man. I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm always just trying, man.
Okay. So really, being, independent, what kind of challenges, what's the biggest challenge kind of comes with making music, man?
Man, I would have to say just keeping up with your profits and losses, your liabilities, and what's your income like, making sure you're on top of that, funding, and just making sure your artist is doing the same thing to a certain extent, and just making sure that you not only just the funding that you collectively building your family on internal lessons, because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people get stressed out. They got their own lives and stuff like that. So you got to be able to be that person that everybody can reach out to, kind of bring people together. And also just knowing your business, knowing where you want to go. What's the purpose? You know, you can't be wasting people's time. You can't be wasting your own time. So what are you trying to do? And what, you know, ethics and what opportunities are you creating for people? And then inside of your mission, what exactly is going to take people as far as a vehicle to the next level in your mind, and whatever's in your mind, are you executing that? So those are the things and attributes in which carry that.
So how do you go about like with execution, you know, because a lot of people, you know, want to make music like you. So can you kind of explain the process on, you know, how the music is made to, you know, how it reaches the audience? Can you kind of explain that process a little bit?
Well, first come from your mind. You know, you want to write things down, make sure you got that in line. Once you got that in line, you know, you take yourself to the studio. Hopefully your producer is on point, you know, because you got, you know, various forms you got to go through. First is your recording engineer. So making sure you properly are recording stuff, getting your vocals correct. After that, you want to do your mixing, then your mastering. And once that's on the line after the mastering, hopefully you own that. My kings, my queens. After your mastering, you know, you release that to a distributor. And you want to also make sure that you're registering your music, because if you're not registering, it's almost like the music version of having a social security number. You know what I'm saying? So you got that for your artistry. And then you also got your IRSC, which is your social security number for your song, whatever album. They all have them, right? Keep things tracked. So you put that in your registry, which is like your registry distributor will be like BMI or ASCAP or something like that. All free, by the way. And once you got that registered, then you want to take that to a distributor on the digital side, because now we move towards digital. Not many people are making CDs, right? So those are, you know, get that to like iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, things of that nature. And then from there, that's pretty much the entire process when you break it down in a very simple manner. Obviously, you want to make sure you got a public administrator after that. So, you know, you want to make sure after all the things that you've written, you also collect funds on that, because you got digital, you got your digital rights, performance rights, and stuff like that. So that's all your residuals, okay? So when it comes to that, after you release something, you want to make sure you capture that automatically on your public administration. You know, you could use something like Song Trust, that's a good one, or, you know, Harry Fox, it's another one that's a real big one, most of them. And pretty much what that does is just oversee on an international level, because BMI and ASCAP only see you on a national level. They can't collect funds for you on something like in Zimbabwe or in Asia or, you know, things like that. So to be able to collectively do that and catch things for you if they hear it on the radio or if somebody's using it on your YouTube channel. So you definitely want to have a public ad. I mean, and after that, it's pretty much the whole process. Sounds simple, but it's, you know, it's some details in each.
Yeah, it does not sound simple.
Oh, I gotta get my charger. Hold up, give me 1 second.
You kind of explained the step, but I really don't understand that. So I'm guessing, you know, understanding the process is the first barrier of entry. What are the other barriers of entry to, you know, getting into the music business? Does it have a low or high barrier of entry?
You mean like the difficulties as far as getting into everything you want to get to?
Yeah, like in the business.
I would say the biggest challenge for most artists that I've seen that I used to challenge with, but I'm more fluid now with it, is the consistency, being able to stay consistent. Because, you know, it costs money. A lot of people see these videos, and a lot of people who hear the songs, you know, they don't understand all of those things that you see that gives you the entertainment. It costs funds, you know, all the way down to because after the song is released, stuff like that, you want to get your video going. Then you got to do the editing for that, get a shooter, a person that does the video work, and release that, and have plans on the marketing side as far as marketing and branding. You end up getting to that area. That's where, you know, you start working on strategies to take a song that you got in the video or whatever project you have in mind, and to kind of distribute that to the masses, kind of create some type of virality, and some kind of following for yourself. And you want to just keep capitalizing on that. The more you capitalize on that and stay consistent, that word, and you stay consistent on that, then you're building a following that can basically get you funds. And when you release something, things like merchandise, and you release things on a digital platform like music, those kind of things end up spreading and making you funds in return. The more people who believe in and feed into that particular brand that you're presenting.
Okay. Have you started, well, like you said, fund is something, you know, funding yourself and funding your brand is something that, you know, is important to the business. Really, what is there any other thing other than finances, or is there also like a like another resource such as a recruiting or any other thing that makes it hard for somebody to get into business?
I will also say just not understanding contracts, the importance of contracts. So definitely literature, knowledge about that. Understanding percentages, understanding royalties, your rights, your residuals, making sure you understand those type of things like ownership of your masters. That's pretty much the finished work of your body of work that you use in musically. You know what I'm saying? You got to have all the components pretty much all the way down to the horns that's used in the beats. If you got that kind of deal or something like that with the person made the beat, or if you did it yourself, being able to have the vocals, the main vocals, the backups, the ad-libs, things like that. So whenever you want to add someone on, or if you want to change something before redistribution or remix, or 10 years from now, you're allowed to do that. That's your masters. It comes in a little file and you got everything you need in it, right? So you want to make sure you got your masters. You want to make sure you understand contracts. A lot of artists don't understand contracts. They get in these 360 deals, which is deals that, hey, look, boom, we give you this, that, and the third, blah, blah, you owe this back. And once you make this money, you pay us first, and then you get what we can give you after we break down percentages for everybody else to get paid. It's pretty much saying, hey, look, man, we're going to make you lit, but as far as funding goes, you get paid last, all right? Keep making us money. So those are 360 deals. Fair enough, if you run into one and you work out well, then you work out well. Some artists end up just actually selling big, and they're able to do that. But I would say not understanding contracts is definitely a big thing. That's an issue a lot of artists deal with. And that's from a small level all the way down to a major level. You've seen what Megan Thee Stallion dealt with. She was with that label long before we knew who she was. You know what I'm saying? So, the label that ended up getting the distribution deal, which is with the major label now, that we know who she is. You know what I'm saying? So understanding that. Another thing, just the business structure as far as business goes, like any business, you run a business, understanding the structure, you got your presidents, your vice presidents, your CEOs, things like that. So, how to conduct those things, just building a good narrative on your ROI, return on investments, making sure that the things that you're using is making you money. If you're going to buy a camera, if you're going to buy lighting, make sure you're utilizing those for some type of purpose that's in either as long-term investment or short-term investment, whether that's renting your equipment out, like your audio visual distributor, or stuff that my label does as well, or you're going there to actually use the camera to do something for them, or if you're just using it for an artist because that's a long-term investment because you believe in that particular artist is going to do something later on for you. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, organically, meaning making funds off of music that you're helping them with. So yeah, there's that. There's various means and components, that's challenges and stuff, but just like any other business, because at the end of the day, no matter if you get into the food industry or the clothing industry or the music industry, business is business. And then after that, then you deal with the basic processes of releasing music and videos and marketing and branding.
Okay, so like one important thing that you were talking about that I heard was the ability to kind of own your own masters. Now, what's a master, and why is it so important that artists kind of retain their own masters?
Well, number one, for example, if an artist gets signed to a label and they say, hey, look, we're going to make 2 songs with you. We're going to do everything for you, but we're going to own 100% of your masters. All right, cool. Yeah, man. Just give me the girls' money and we lit it. All right, cool. Back. Boom. Sign here. Boom. Sign. You get the girls' money and videos and you lit it. Boom. Right? Now the deal is over. It flopped. You owe them a little money and stuff like that. And, they was like, we don't think this is going to work out, sir. What you mean? What you mean? Yeah, so not only are you not in debt now because you owe us money, because for all the money, the women, the cars didn't get litty, right? You owe us bread for that. We had to pay to get those models. You didn't know them. You didn't have that kind of clout. We had to pay for the place that we did the video, the cars. You didn't have none of that, right? You was dropping our aura, right? Right? So, boom. Now you got kicked off the label. What do you own from those songs that's making money every time you walk past and see them on TV? None. And you can't, somebody hit you up like, yo, Drake hits you up like, yo, man, I heard your song, man. I want to do a remix, man. Like, can I hop on that? Like, no, you can't. I don't have the masters. How can you go in there to take those components apart to be able to pin them on the song? And on top of that, who's taking the profit for that? I own those components. Not only does that happen physically, but that goes on paperwork and contracts. So that means when that masters, that song that came from that source makes money, I own it. So I get paid for it. I own 100% or 50%, 70% of your masters. Most, you know what I'm saying? So that means your creative property, your intellectual property, right, has been taken from you. And you literally can sit there and see so many artists, including like Mace, sit there and watch, I don't know what, like watch that video over and over. He doesn't get paid for none of it, but his voice is on it. He's in the video. We know that's me. He doesn't get no money. This is why he's looking at, the publishing. Where's the publishing? That's what it's called, publishing. Like, he owns everything. He owns all of it. So that means whenever a poster about that song or whenever somebody uses it on YouTube or whenever the radio plays it before another channel comes on, then he gets paid for it. Not the person that's saying the song or made it hot. He don't own the masters. And if anybody ever want to remix it, put it on the greatest hits or something like that, you need the masters. You can't just take that MP3 download and just put that on the album. It got to get mixed in with the other people's songs. You know what I'm saying? So it got to get remixed. So you need the bells, the drums, the vocals, the ad-libs, all that. You know what I mean? Because it got to sound the same,
Yep.
And then on top of that, masters, everybody want to know how the hell they able to get Pac voice all these years masters. Because they had the original voice. You can't voice modulate from an MP3. You can't take the components from out of there. I mean, you can, I guess they might have some type of technology in 2021 you can now, but I know you wasn't doing that in 2005 or nothing. Like, very important because it's your money and it's your creative, intellectual property.
I actually have heard a lot of I've heard about a lot of rappers and artists, not even rappers, artists that kind of had that issue where they were fighting for the masters again. So someone that's not into music, but actually recently was talking about it. Dave Chappelle talked about that. Did you see what that speech he made about having that fight with Comedy Central? How they didn't pay him a single dollar, like they didn't pay him anything.
Oh yeah, for the Dave Chappelle show, yeah, I did.
Yeah, and then
it works the same way.
Yep.
That's performance royalties. It works the same way because he's an artist. I mean, in essence.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at it in that same lens, essentially, he's performing. So I mean, like, he's not distributing CDs, but he's doing movies.
Right.
All that stuff. So, and that literally, you can see the same thing with Nick Cannon. You got to really see it with Nick Cannon. His show, you got to see his show like a song.
Yeah.
It's an intellectual property in that. There's royalties in just that show, Wild and Out. That name right there.
Yeah.
Niggas they actually sat down in the room and was like, yo, I own this portion and you own that portion. We'll give you this percentage on just that. Treat it like an album. And that show gets played and distributed everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And when things got crazy, who had to apologize even though we know who we see on TV? Who got checked? You want to know why? Because he doesn't own all of that. He doesn't own all of that. If he owned all of that, he actually had all of the royalty rights, all of that, Nick would have said what he said. I'm like, so my show's still gonna play. What y'all gonna do about it? I'll go to Oprah's network. He can't move to no network with that show.
Yeah. You
feel me? Because if that was the case, he would have just went to Harpo or he would have went to Revolt. Easily. Revolt would have, what? Then he would have been like, what? Wild and Out? Then that's easy money. Did he knew better? He knew what he couldn't do. He didn't get no offer.
They kicked him off. They kicked him off the show, which was
they checked him real quick.
And then he went on for like a few months to apologize. I think he's still apologizing.
It is funny because now they're working things out. Yo, more power to the brother, you know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying, Nick, if I was you, and there's no judgment, if I was him, actually, let me say, if I was a man that was in his shoes, I would have just went full-fledged. Because at the end of the day, probably would have got sued, blah, blah, blah. You gotta rebuild your empire sometimes. And I think people already understand that Wild and Out came from his mind, but the paperwork just doesn't attach to that same reality. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. That's different. He still has intellectual. They own the property. That's fine. That's cool. But everybody around the world, this is why so many people was mad, because they was like, we know you could give us another Wild and Out. All he had to do was like, you know what? Fine. Because obviously it seemed like it wasn't no contract in place where he had to do a certain amount, to our knowledge. I don't know. For seasons, it seemed like he already surpassed that. It was just on it to the means of them owning the actual entity. So for me, I just feel like he could have just literally just switched up a name, went somewhere else. He probably just had to switch the name. Everybody would have known. He could have just openly said, look, this is what I had to do, my people. And I think his respect would have boosted up crazy. Like, yeah. But he did what? He did what? Even at his level, he conformed. That's what I said earlier. He conformed. And eventually you'll get what you want. He gonna get his show back.
I mean, like that's really a major problem, you know. But to play devil's advocate, what if sometimes, you know, when you have responsibilities, you know, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. That's what, you know, the other side would say. And Nick Cannon has actually, you know, helped put on a lot of brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? People that we really wouldn't think about today, that, you know, that are really successful are, you know, some of the people that Nick Cannon kind of personally, you know, help hire. And because of that, they kind of grew up from Nick Cannon. So I think some people could say that he did that so he could continue helping it, you know, other people. Do you think that's the right way to go about it?
Nah, I don't agree. I disagree with that, just due to the fact that, you know, just because you did something for people, that don't really mean that. At the end of the day, it's all about what you do as a man yourself when you stand alone in your actions. I believe he's at an area in his life where he had plenty of opportunities to go any avenue he wanted. He's not just like some regular average Joe like us, like, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I feel like, yeah, he probably some stones would have got hit. I'm pretty sure he's just fine and well enough known, got enough resources for his family not to be left in the dump. You know what I'm saying? So like, the dude is a very smart businessman. I think he could have easily did a switch around. I'm not saying I know people's pockets, but I know if I can do it, he damn sure can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know for a fact his bank account is, for what I do know, his bank account is doing better than mine, for sure. I don't know how much, so I can't judge him there, but it's definitely doing better. And as far as resources, I'm pretty sure they're better. And sometimes I just think he it's plenty of options. He didn't need to do that just to do that, to be able to take care of those other resources. I don't agree with that. Various other avenues he could have went. And there's so many other people that went other avenues before him prior. And there's also so many people that did good things for people that just not good for people, that just not good people in general. So it doesn't really matter what, you know, what he's doing for people and all that. If that's the case and he did all that good stuff, then they should have been right there for him whenever it got real. Whatever. And if they not, then what you gonna do about it? Sometimes things come to life as a test of manhood. You know what I'm saying? So where's your tenacity at? Where's your direction? Some men crumble in corners, some men stand up tall. That's just me. Not judging them. I'm just saying I would have just handled it differently. Definitely if I had the same resources. No question.
A lot of people thought he could have handled it differently. But hey, we can't.
But it's his life.
You know.
Not judging him.
Yeah. Hey, but thankfully, you know, the brother's trying to get back on his feet, and like, let's wish him success, you know, in his endeavor.
Yeah, I wish him success. I hope he got a little plan, low key. That'd be lovely.
Yeah, I think he always does. I think he just kind of thought like that was
smart man.
Yeah. Shout out to Nick Cannon, actually. But
he good with me still.
Yeah,
I gotta see what his next move is, but I don't got no beef with dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Did you see that interview he did with that rabbi though?
Which one?
He right after that video, he made an interview with the rabbi. Just Cannon.
No, I didn't get a chance to see that. But I definitely seen the little you know, the little still when you're going by on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I was watching his he had did some diss track and it had popped up like I know what you're talking about.
Honestly, no, it's actually a bit insightful. You should listen to his response.
Yeah, he's a very intelligent character, though, nonetheless.
Yeah.
He's definitely an intelligent man.
Yeah.
I think he just needs a little guidance in certain areas, but other than that, I don't got no real actual issue with him. But I don't know. I think people I know just a little more assertive, I guess.
Yeah. I feel you, but he's definitely an influential man, which brings me up to my next point. You know what I mean? Like, hip hop is super influential, man. Hip hop is, man, it's worldwide. Something that, you know, that came from, you know, people here in America, like right here from the roots, made it and with such a wide net. So because it's so wide and because of the ability for us to really be free in our message in hip hop, you know, some people think it influences people negatively. So my question is, do you think hip hop influences people in a negative way?
I feel like this question, I gotta approach this respectfully because Pac kind of low key touched on this. But what I will say in my own words is, I disagree. No, I think that's another narrative to keep our people down. I don't hear nobody talking about rock and roll doing that. I don't hear nobody talking about death metal doing that. They pure talking about evil. I mean, I hear nothing about them getting chastised or disrespected in the media or saying anything about negative narratives, but there's white kids with high suicide rates in so many areas throughout the world. Nobody's talking about that in that same stance we talk about it. So no, I don't agree with that. What I do agree is that people as human beings are intelligent enough or should be smart enough to understand that music is music, just like movies is movies. We can sit there and watch Jason Voorhees slashed out all these white women in a goddamn camp. We can't sit there and listen to no goddamn Eazy-E and some NWA and know the goddamn difference between not going outside and doing the same thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy, you know?
Yeah,
That's my question answer to that.
I definitely feel that though, but like people like Eazy-E, NWA, you know, what's his name? Like sometimes even Kendrick, you know what I mean? Their music is kind of different from the music that we're kind of starting to hear now, you know what I mean? And for the longest time, people, you know, when you listen to hip hop, you know, I'm just playing devil's advocate. People are just talking about, you know, F that, you know, fuck that, you know what I mean? Or I'm gonna do this to somebody, I'm gonna do that to somebody.
I know what you mean on the drill.
Yeah, like drill music. You feel me? Like gangster rap. Come on, man. Like that has an impact on our mentality for us to be
again,
talking about hurt each other.
I feel in one area, I'm gonna do this section in one area. If you don't want to hear it, that's fine. That's up to you. Just like you don't want to hear death metal. I don't want to hear it, so I don't listen to it. It's simple as that. Yep. But nobody's over there. They're literally talking about devils and evils and killing people, slaughtering people. But that's fine. It's not a big deal. I think the only reason why some Black people even feel that way is because how much the narrative's been pushed in social media. Since before our time, bro, it's been an issue. It's been only an issue about hip hop. Notice that at first, before the NW era, it was just fine because we didn't understand the business that was being created and how they didn't even understand how much money they could start making. And then once they noticed that we started getting beat over, you know what I mean, then you had certain people that came into the industry that just wasn't having that.
Right.
And then they wanted to remove that situation. So instead of, our paperwork and the deals that we giving out are bull crap, instead of that, and we're treating, we're hustling people and we're ruining their lives really, instead of admitting their problems, just like, you know, admitting that the real reason why we're broke and they can't give us real money is because they owe gold to so many countries. Anyways, the same way they can say that, but instead of doing that, they want to say, it's the music. It's the music, the stuff that, but you pushed it out there. How many people from these labels, the people who started the labels that pushed the Black music out to the people that they're complaining about, that's complaining about this, are they Black? No. You got one, Russell. He came later. We're talking like when it started. We all know what happened with NWA, but what do you hear more? What they was talking about or how they got beat over through their entire career? To the point where only one of them noticed that. Only one of them noticed that. And two of them noticed that they left, but then one of them went into another situation like that. It was just went on, unfortunately. And then another one actually smart enough to get somewhere else. That's Ice Cube. And we know I'm talking about Dre.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
I know you're talking about Cube.
Let's talk about that. I mean, that's what we need to talk about. We need to talk about that because at the end of the day, if they want to change what's being talked about, you know, if they want to change what's being talked about in death metal, then maybe they need to start focusing on these young white kids who are dealing with the issues between their parents getting split up and the ways they're forcing these goddamn romanticizing religion upon them and judging them based upon that, so they're killing themselves to be living a certain standard that their white people on their side are telling them they need to be following with. And that's the reason why you got all of this evil spirit and all this killing myself and blood attachments and all that music, and why those kids listen to that with death metal, because they're going through their own pain. So they want that narrative to change. That's what the fuck they need to do, to start focusing on their kids. You know what I'm saying? Stop getting them frivolous ass marriages and start doing what they need to do. And if on this side, if we want to start hitting, like if you tired of hearing what we talking about drilling and gangs, we know why the gangs started. Nobody asked y'all to end the Black Panthers. Nobody asked y'all. It would have been chapters of Black Panthers everywhere, but instead we got Bloods, Crips, GDs, and Vice Lords. That's what you wanted. You literally devoured it. They just dropped the movie about it. That was the second time we tried. Freddie Hampton was the second try. That was the second. Huey been like getting messed up. He was the second try. We tried twice. We tried twice. He was the only successful chapter in the Black Panthers that actually even got to make it out to speak anything. It was chapters across everywhere. Why was it just Chicago? You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to the actual issue, you got to attack the actual issue, what they talk about, because humans is only going to recollect and then talk about what they seen. It's poverty, it's gangs, it's violence, and it's been redlining for how long? You got us trapped in these vicinities. We're not up in no plush houses talking about this shit. I don't see 2Gs coming from a neighborhood that got nice green evergreen trees and nice suburban houses. He from Brooklyn. He walking by crackheads every day at 13 years old and seeing people get shot at 8. What are we gonna talk about? Not no fucking trees in the suburbs. I don't know about that shit. So like, yeah. And then obviously we gotta look cool. Because then we deal with our own presence in our own neighborhood because they decided to adapt to that kind of living. So we gotta talk about, if we're gonna talk about the music, we gotta talk about the issues. We're gonna talk about the movies, because it's the same shit. We gotta talk about the issues. Why we want to talk about that, but why, just to throw a quick tangent, just a thought thinker. Why is it that we can sit there and be okay with watching people getting slaughtered in a movie, but it's an issue to watch 2 people make love on film? I just find that amazing. The things that we decide to focus. This is why we got to think for ourselves, not society. And that would definitely just go hand in hand with both of those narratives. It's ridiculous. I don't see nothing wrong with the music. We got the opportunity. We know we could hit share to share something, or we can shut the hell up and not share it. We know if we want the lights to come on, we can turn it on, or we can turn it off. You don't got to listen to that artist. There's so many conscious artists. There's so many artists that's about peace. Open up your mind. Go on Spotify and don't just look up the same Drake music, the same Meek Mill music. Those are literally people listen to the same 26 artists. It's literally thousands upon thousands of artists. Rex Life Raj, check him out. Great guy. Dope. Blast. Spell his A with an X. BLXST. Amazing artist. Let's go on. They're not on the radio every day. Freddie Gibbs is another artist that's amazing. He talking about
Freddie Gibbs is nice.
Stuff, look to his narrative. He's giving you some food for thought, and he a vice lord. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, it's so much things going on, but we continue to think for society. Thinking for society and say, hey, let me sit down at this TV and show them what they want to show me. You're not thinking for yourself. It's nothing wrong with having that, just like you have dessert. Go ahead and dibble. You got to live. Go ahead and go fucking bungee jump. Go ahead. But you don't do that every fucking day. You got to be productive and progressive on your everyday basis. And every once in a while, go ahead and have your dessert and know what you're doing. If you're thinking for yourself already, then you're going to go on to social media knowing, hey, I'm going on here because I got to post something for my business to get this money. Not because, I want to see how people feel about me. And that's the whole mindset collectively that goes back into people caring about something about the music and not the source of why it's being projected. Shit crazy.
So what I'm hearing is that like people are kind of focusing on the negative aspects, which are kind of unfounded, while forgetting about, what kind of makes the music, what it is, our kind of recollection of our past. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, most, for better words, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel you, man. There's actually, I have a funny story about that. About hip hop, actually. It's funny. One time I was in class and my professor was talking about hip hop and how she doesn't like it. And about how violent it is. I'll never forget this. And then I don't know. I feel like sometimes, honestly, certain hip hop is not good for our community, in my personal opinion. But I feel like nobody except us has a right to really delegate what's good and what's bad for our community. We can't let other people decide that. So what I told her was like, okay, you're out here saying hip hop is bad and this, and that. Okay, I see where you're coming from, but a lot of times it's about kids, talking about their experience and what they went through. You know what I mean? So the time it takes you to come and really kind of bash on them, where were you when the kid needed help to go to school? When he needed some money in his pockets, when he wanted a job, when he wanted to go to college? You weren't there for him. You weren't there for anything. You feel me? So when he decides to be creative with himself, kind of grow his talent and then really make money off of that and really take care of his family, take care of himself, that's when you start to rash on him. This whole time, you could have stopped that from happening. If you don't want that kind of message out there, there are plenty of things you could have done to help it.
But I mean, it could be in their own, not to cut you off, but it could be in their, I just want to make sure I piggyback. It could be in their own accountability too. That's fine. And that's great. A lot of people will tackle that with that. But, in some sense, this has been talked about for decades. I know my music, man. You go to Ohio players, you know what I'm saying? You go to war, into the slipping in the darkness. I mean, people, just because they projected a certain, okay, fine, you don't like hip hop, go to another black genre. You're gonna hear the same damn thing just in a different way. They may not be cursing, but it's gonna be that same damn pain. It's the same pain. And it's so many genres, most of them is ours. Blues, the list go on. People been, man, even not Stevie Wonder was more light, but Ray Charles used to go dark. He used to go very dark. And it is so cursing and everything. So for me, it's just like, I think they pick and choose. When they see power, that's a threat. That's how I feel. So it's like, fine. Who is it though that makes those particular artists relevant? Why is it being exploited to a certain extent? Yo, we don't own Viacom. We may own a station. Charlemagne is on Breakfast Club, but he doesn't own Clearwater.
No.
Who owns that? Who's telling them what to say and what to do? Yo, respect to many people, but people conform in their own way. I conform in my own way. Everybody got their own job. To a certain extent, everybody has to because we play the game, right? I got a job that I go to, right? Everybody got a job they go to. But how far are you willing to go? Because there's levels to it, right? But at the end of the day, who's really behind the puppeteer? Who's pulling the strings? The people who own the companies that own these 26 companies, these parenting companies. It's a fact. What they see that makes money is what's going to happen, period. And people could say, oh, that's conspiracy theories, but it's like, if you actually know the business, you read a little bit, it's just right there in your face. I mean, you go to if you work at McDonald's, who's telling you what to do on a daily basis? You don't come in and just do what you want. I'm pretty sure we're not going to sit here and say the Breakfast Club just go into the radio station to say and do what they want. It doesn't work like that. Impossible. Will Smith don't get on film and say and do what he wants. You know what I mean? I just feel like, those things got to be taken into consideration, just extensively.
So you kind of mentioned a little bit about, kind of like having to work, while kind of working towards your business, growing your brand. So can you talk a little bit more about that, please?
Well, the importance of it per se, I would say that it gives you a certain mentality of being self-sufficient. A lot of people in this society, man, and just in my opinion, I just feel like we're waiting for something to happen for us. Like the waiting thing, you're gonna wait forever. Some people will get lucky and it works, but I'd rather get lucky while still not waiting. You know what I'm saying? And if you're building yourself in that manner, you just probably not even gonna have to wait. Because if you're moving, then you're not standing still. So for me, I just think people need to start building their mentality in a way where I can organize myself in the fashion to where I can collect my own fund. I can organize my fashion. I can get my own follower with the people for whatever business you're trying to go on, whatever route that's in mind or in heart. I just think it's just very important, just in general, regardless, even outside of music, entrepreneurship and just owning your own business will give you a certain mindset and poise that'll have you driven than the average individual, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's actually funny that you say that because I hear now that, in America, it's a lot harder for you now to live by with just one stream of income. So it's really, it's imperative that you really try to work towards, getting multiple streams of income. And I see that's what, I guess that's the kind of mentality that you're on it. Am I right to assume that?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. And so I really kind of like how you go about it, Oh, I have another question, actually. Can you tell me
go for it.
What's your favorite song in your album? If you had to pick one.
Oh. Yeah.
I hit you with a sound.
Yeah. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Like, that's a toss-up. First of all, I like all the songs, number one.
Yep.
But if I had to be real, like, it's a toss-up between Goku Trees and Sin.
Sin.
I don't know.
Go Trees and Sin.
I can't break that tie, bro. I can't.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Goku Trees and Sin, man. There's something about that. But if I was forced to, it was life or death, I would have to say Goku Trees. Because I'd rather be somewhere spiritually than dealing with reality if I had to choose. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to be where the core is at, not where the facade is at. Sin is nothing more. I don't want to speak about like it's nothing, but Sin is more so speaking about what I deal with on the physical level. Goku Trees is more so on the spiritual level. And that's the realm I'm trying to kick it to.
Okay. Damn, I bet that was a tough one. So what, I guess
That
like,
was.
now, I guess I kind of like touch on like what, I know you're trying to be on the spiritual level. So sin, why'd you also pick sin? What stood out when you picked sin and Goku Trees?
Say that one more time. I ain't tell you.
So why did those two songs kind of really like, pop out, when I asked you that question?
Man, besides the fact Goku Trees, man, Goku Trees is special because anybody who was with me during the process for that know that song took about like almost 3 years to make. Y'all. I went from producer to producer. It was the first song that I ever bought full ownership to. Like I own the beat, I own like everything exclusively. So I protected it for a while, and every producer I took it to just wasn't doing it right. It wasn't giving a sound. It's a very different sound than I usually go for, and that beat just brought it out of me naturally.
Wow.
And besides that, it was really just, I was new at smoking marijuana, and I put that with my stresses, and I feel like that song opened up a world that I could create for my rebels. You know what I'm saying? That's in total bliss, but not far enough bliss to where we get lost in a fantasy. We stay in reality, but we blend right. It's a nice balance. Good old Libra mind. And Sin, I would have to say, that song was just from the heart. Like it was from the heart. It was very personal about a portion of my upbringing, and I felt like I delivered that very well. So that's why. The whole song, the whole album is fire though. You heard? Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm about to be hip real quick. I'm about to be hip. So, really, how do people access? How can people listening to this kind of access your work? Your songs. What platforms do you recommend?
Well, you can go straight directly to LawJQ.com. That'll get you right where you need to be.
It's gonna be right down below, right here, LawJQ.com.
Yeah, so you just go right there. Obviously, I'm anywhere on social media. You can follow me at LawJQ Music. That's LawJQ Music and Vocal. So you type that in. All you can just go to Google and just type me in. I pop up pretty well, humbly. You know what I'm saying? But I pop up pretty well on Google, and everything will come up. From there, I'm on everything. As far as music, man, anything that you stream from YouTube to Spotify, Deezer, Fungi, which is an Asian platform for streaming, whichever. I'm on everything. You can't miss me if you type in LawJQ. It'll get you there.
Okay. Nice. So you heard it here, LawJQ.com. And I have another question for you, brother.
Sure.
So kind of like, as an artist that's had like really like some experience in this, what's the best advice you would give to someone that wants to be in your position?
Oh. All right, there you go. All right, sorry, man. You gotta repeat that. My phone's tripping.
Yeah. So you had some experience in music, so you've been doing this for a little bit, and you've definitely acquired some skills and some training in your craft. So what's the best advice you would give to somebody that's trying to really start the journey like you did a while back?
Think for yourself. First, search inside yourself. Is this what you really want to do? Is this something that is a burning flame? That's number one. Number two, believe in yourself before you expect anybody to believe in you. And the last thing I would say is, a quote that I made up is, most hardest times are your most difficult times is just as temporary as your best times.
Yep.
And all paths.
Yep.
So I like to leave people with those kind of things instead of saying, hey man, make sure you stay consistent, blah, blah. Start here, internal. Build yourself, because there's going to be a lot of people that doubt you. There's going to be a lot of those typical cliche things that you already know and hear about. It starts here and here. You good, you're going to weather the storm, but keep making your music. Period. Stop and know the reality of music, because at the end of the day, you can make 80 to 100 grand a year on music and you can be happy. So many artists like, I Am DDB, that's another queen, that's dope. Kalela, just so many artists, man, emotional artists, people that are making money that's not Drake level artists. Stop reaching for certain, reach organically. And that just means do exactly what you want to do, sound how you want to sound, and get better at that. And then you'll find your cult following, people that's going to do what you got to do and understand the business as well, because there's so many other ways to make funds and be successful in the music business other than just making your music. And if you're successful in any other area, you can touch things. It's like a wave. That's it.
Hey, man, that's some good advice, man. You know, it's really kind of search within yourself, man, guys. If you want to do what it is, know exactly what you're doing, kind of mitigate risks, and then really kind of try to practice your craft. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, that's something that you youngins have to, you know, really kind of listen to, man. This man's dropping facts right here. And basically getting better at your craft and being successful is, success is really what we're all aiming for in life. So how do you define success?
Success, I think it's a really personal and eternal thing. Like whatever you believe is going to make you happy in your purpose. I believe you can't really rate your success or scale your success until you know what your purpose is. And if you don't know what your purpose is, you need to figure out what 3 things that you really like doing. It's 3 to 5 things, something that you really like. When you do it, you actually happy. It can be anything, video games, and see what all of those things got in common. People purpose, everybody keep thinking about this American dream thing. But your purpose can be leading a nation of people into a narrative that they all believe that you just happen to believe in. It could be anything like that. Or being able to talk to people to bring them up and uplift them, or be able to intellectually trade knowledge to build them or rebuild them or recalibrate them from a traumatic experience or something like that. You may end up being a therapist. Anything, find your purpose, because once you find your purpose, success, you'll be able to scale things a certain way and find out the things that you need to do to be able to get there. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So success to me is being able to finally reach your purpose, which is the highest pinnacle spiritually in my mind, in my opinion.
Do you know what your purposes are, or you know, do you want to share some of your experiences? You want to share with us what your purpose might be? What is your purpose?
In shorter words, man, I believe to lead people. You know, I believe I'm somebody that's supposed to lead and uplift before I leave this earth. And that's on a personal level with, you know, obviously a family, and as well on a national and international level. I think I'm here to project a certain energy and to lead with that projection. And that will get people to a reality in which will be best for them. And how I do that, it just so happens my spirit likes to rap and likes to motivationally speak and various other things that it's specialized in. So with that being said, that's how we'll answer that question. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, man, I appreciate the, you know, time and, you know, you kind of brought to our show. I appreciate the knowledge you've been. Yeah. Wow, guys. There you have it, LawJQ. So you'll see the link to, you know, LawJQ.com down in the description. If you have any questions, how can people contact you?
Yeah, man, on Instagram, LawJQ Music, LawJQ MUSIC. You can holler at me at LawJQ.com for management, business, and, you know, any things like that, features. Contact at LawJQ.com. Just contact exactly how it was spelled. Holler at your boy. Take 1 year anniversary for the Higher Frequencies album out right now, obviously. Yep. Holler at your boy. We about to drop something on y'all.
Yep. Hey, man. Out here, man. Hey, thank you for your time, brother.
Appreciate you, King. Thanks for having me, man.
I ain't really have shit, had to go out and get it. Got some dreams for the winning, but poverty got me sending secrets I never show, robberies for the low. Gon' get it by any means, cause this pain has gotta go. I ain't really have shit, had to go out and get it. Got some dreams for the winning, but poverty got me sending secrets I never show, robberies for the low. Gon' get it by any means, cause this pain has gotta go.